Oh, should have done that on the beginning. Who just made that sound?
That was me, and then it was Matt.
Oh, that was good. I like that. A gong, like a gong hit every time at the beginning of the pod before we say anything.
Wasn't on purpose. Matt's was, I think.
Mine was on purpose. Well, that's maybe like the opening sound should be just all of us opening our beers or something.
Yeah. That's what I was doing. I was getting my beer to take a picture for Untap, and I hit it on my koozie.
I mean,
It's one of those Yeti koozies. That's why you heard that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got to be ready
Yeti
at all
bottle-
times, right? This it's never too far. Like I got my opener,
Mm.
wax cutter and all.
Oh, nice. A wax cutter built in. Okay.
Wax cutter
Yeah,
built in.
that's
It's
really
made from an old bourbon barrel stave.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Mm.
But
Nice.
so I'm gonna jump right into it. Ethan, I'm going through my lambic cellar. So I've got
Oh, nice.
Tilken with Riesling from 2019.
I just saw some Tilkins at the store today when I went to pick up something for tonight. And actually, I bought something, Matt. I was going to ask you. It had really good ratings on Untapped. It's by Primitive Brewing, which is here in Colorado, I think, and also Cellar West or something. Cellar West or something. And it's like a saison, and it has like peach and apricot, I think. And the fuck was it called? I'll have to look it up. But it looked really good, and I was curious if you had heard of them.
No, I
Yeah.
hadn't. I'll have to look it up. Is
Okay,
it Browley
yeah.
West or is it Cellar West?
Cellar West, like basement
Okay.
cellar, like CE. And the beer is called Meager Portmanteau. Yeah,
Okay.
Primitive and Cellar West. They're both in Colorado. So Primitive is in Longmont and Cellar West is in Lafayette. Not both of them are relatively close to me, both within probably 90 minutes. But I'm not having that tonight. I just thought it was interesting.
I'm saving it for maybe next time I get you guys around. But I found I tell you this already. Like I found a 3 Fontaine like unicorn just sitting on the shelf.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was exciting. So
yeah, that's awesome. So did you sip this Tilken yet?
Oh no, not yet. Let's see.
Okay.
Tilken
So wait,
with
actually,
Riesling grapes.
I want you to teach us something because I can't remember. Is Tilken the name of the brewery, or is it the style of beer?
It is the name of the brewery.
It is. Okay. Because sometimes when I'm looking at some of these sour beers at the store, it's hard to tell like which is the brewery and which is like a style. Like I don't know. Some of them seem kind of confusing. So Tilken is the brewery.
Yes. And
Goosery Tilken.
They make gooses, which are lambic. They're blended beers. Usually a
Right.
lambic is a blend of like 1, 2, and 3-year-old beers, or sorry, 0, 1, 2. Fresh, new, and aged beer. I don't know. It's a blend. It's a blend of wild ales. So you get that like really, really sour. I don't know how to describe it, like tart flavor, and then you can add fruit to it. So they do a bunch with different grapes.
Yeah.
They'll do stuff with like currants. They'll do stuff with like gooseberries or rhubarb.
Would we count the Casey Wild Ales that we've been talking about as lambics also?
So I'm not sure.
Okay.
For it to be a lambic or a goose, if it's got to be from Belgium.
Oh, like it might be like a bourbon rule or whatever.
Bourbon or champagne.
Champagne, yeah.
Let me look it up. That's a very good question for all of us.
Okay. I mean that's probably a little bit more in the weeds than we need to go. I was just curious if you knew. Because I had been because it seems like some of the term because there's gozas and then there's gooses, right?
Yep.
There's that, and then with like the lambics and the saisons and the wild ales and all of these various like sour, tart, funky things. Obviously, it's all still new to me, and so yeah, it's just curious.
Okay, so most Belgian brewers do not consider spontaneously fermented beer made outside of Belgium true lambics, but many American brewers know to seek to brew it respectfully. But yeah, that's a good point, Ethan. Like, there's gozas are actually it's like a German sour wheat beer. So gozas are German, usually brewed with sea salt and wheat.
Okay.
Saisons are usually French, or it's a French style. That's why you'll see Bière de Pays, Bière de Mars. There's saisons or farmhouse ales were originally brewed to give to farm workers.
Okay.
And that's where you get that, earthy, peppery. They're flavoring it with the stuff they can find around the farm. So that's where you get peppercorn or coriander, or kind of the weird stuff like that. And then you've got your like English industrial beer. We want pub beers. Burr, burr.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But anyway, drank a lot of great beer in Costa Rica. Drank a lot of really bad beer in Costa Rica.
Really?
So there's one major brewery. I think it's called like Florida Brewers, but it's a Costa Rican company, and they make like Imperial is the brand. They're like Imperial, Imperial Light, Imperial Silver, Imperial Ultra, like all taste the same. They also make Bavarian Gold and Bavarian Light, all taste the same. And then Pilsen Ultra and Pilsen 6.0 and Pilsen, again, all the same. All were considered lagers, golden, pale, or American lagers.
Yeah.
So those were, that was like water. It was just you had that around. But there was I tried microbrews from like 3 or 4 different places in Costa Rica that were really good. I had this passion fruit pale ale that was amazing.
Wow.
Gave it a 4. I gave it a 4. I was also on a passion fruit kick, so that's Oh, Colin, come on! You got to drink those up. It's old beer.
This is it.
Okay, good.
I purposely like to save them for the podcast, and
that's the kiwi with the long legs, right? That's that can art. Yeah,
extra tall kiwi.
That is. How's it tasting? That was a really, really good one. So
it is good. Yeah, I looked. You both rated it 4.25. I rated it 4.25.
Yeah, well, I mean that's like Ethan's sweet spot is New Zealand hop. See, that was like that's I always look out for that now.
Yeah. I mean, I like the kiwi taste is pretty good. Like, it's not overwhelming or overpowering, but you definitely get a little bit of that taste, so it's good.
New Zealand and Mosaic. Those are the Mosaic, and actually the one I'm drinking tonight is mostly Mosaic apparently, and it's still pretty foamy, so I haven't dug into it yet. But yeah, those so far are my jam with the hops.
Who brewed yours tonight?
I gotta.
Sorry, Colin. Go ahead.
I just want to interject real quick. This might be a dumb question, but what's the difference between an American IPA and a West Coast IPA?
Like a square is a rhombus, but a rhombus isn't a square. So West Coast is going to be considered. Oh, hi, Sam. Oh, she's bringing dinner. Oh, yes. Thank you. You're the best. You're the best.
Ask her if she wants to make her first appearance.
No, she doesn't.
Yeah.
Unless you do want to make an appearance. Okay, she said no. So American IPA is just to differentiate between English IPAs, which are going to be a lot drier and a lot more bitter. American IPAs are going to be a little bit more sweet, a little bit fruitier. Now, West Coast is interesting because West Coast is dry and it is bitter, but it gives you a tremendous citrus fruit flavor to it. And that's kind of the defining characteristic of a West Coast IPA. It's going to be a clear beer. It's going to look like this, clear and filtered, but it's going to be, or not hazy, I guess I should say. Not some are filtered, some aren't. But it's going to be like they want that piney, citrusy zap. Whereas an English IPA, you normally get more of a bready, floral, grassy taste. American IPAs want you to get that, and it's all based on hop varietals, right? English IPAs are going to be using kind of those old IPAs are going to be using the old traditional styles from Germany and England, whereas you've got all these new varietals in America. Now, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up. Sam Adams did a pack. One of their first like big IPA launches, and this was 12 years ago probably, was an IPA. Like, I mean, they were already established with Boston Lager and everything, but when IPAs were starting to take off, they had an IPA that was made up of either 5 or 6 hops, I think it was 5 hops because they brewed a 12 pack, and it had 2 of the regular IPAs, and then it had 2 each of a single hop that made up the 5. So like you got to taste, okay, like it was the first really big attempt to say like, okay, this is what in like a Kent Golding hop tastes like this, or a Saz hop tastes like this. But you put them all together and you get this big beer. I might have talked about it in the pod before, so I'm sorry if I did to all our listener out there. But yeah, that's kind of like American's going to be more fruity, more sweet, but still, it's become the dominant, respected style, I should say.
Okay.
Good answer.
Yeah. Yeah, very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, and I didn't know either.
Yeah.
I always assumed that the British people were drinking more like mild stuff. I didn't think that their IPAs were going to be more bitter. So it's interesting.
Bitter and bready.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going to be as overly hoppy as American. Like, remember that the origin of the India Pale Ale, right? The India Ale hops are preservatives, so they're extra hops to preserve it around the Cape of Africa.
Right, for like long boat trips or whatever, right? Yeah.
So what do you got, Ethan?
I have from Knotted Root Brewing from nearby Nederland, Colorado, or Nederland. I don't know. I've never heard anybody say it out loud. It is called Spectral Colors, and a really beautiful label by some artist. The art is by BFG.artistry. It kind of looks like a galaxy kind of thing that's been like put up with a bunch of colors. But yeah, just an IPA, and they say that it's highlighting mosaic, and yeah, very tasty.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
So what else? You said you were looking at some special stuff at the store. What else? You found anything else out there?
I mean, I got that meager portmanteau, and then I was looking. There were some Tilkins there that I didn't end up buying, but I was just kind of looking around. There were some interesting ones. I hadn't been to this store before. There were a bunch of Weldworks that I hadn't seen before. I didn't end up getting any of them, but that was kind of interesting. Some of their like fruited sours, and I think a West Coast IPA that they do maybe. And then like tons of Colorado breweries, a bunch that I haven't tried before, but I see them all the time. And but yeah, a decent amount of like sours and lambics and stuff, especially from Belgium. There was like a whole kind of rack of stuff. And there's that who is these guys I don't think are from Belgium, but I see them a lot. Lindemans.
They're European, I believe.
Yeah, okay. They I see them a lot in the grocery store too. They seem to be pretty well distributed.
Oh, they're Belgian. You're right.
They are Belgian, okay. And they have all sorts of interesting like flavors and stuff. I've never tried them, but yeah, I always see those ones around.
Well, that's the tough part about a lot of these beers is they're closer to a bottle of wine.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I mean it, and because some of these lambics and gooses are, a blend of 2 and 3 year old beers, there's cost there too. So this bottle I have right now was $30. It's
yeah,
it's a lot. It's an investment, and the tough part is if it's not something you like.
Yeah.
And you open it and you try it and you go, bleh, like, well,
yep.
You got a lot of vinegary sour beer that you got to drink down, and it's not always that fun.
Yeah, the one I got today is like one of these 750 milliliter bottles, and it was like $27. And the Casey bottles I've bought, same thing, $27-$30 for that size bottle. And yeah, that's not cheap for 750 milliliters. So
you gotta be number one, wanting to experiment, or number two, really trusting of the brand.
Yeah, exactly.
And that Tilkin's one of those, right? I know I'm gonna have a good beer.
Yeah.
But anyway, I wanted to start us off with a real quick tweet that I screenshotted because I'm still not technologically savvy.
A tweet?
Do they call them tweets still?
Yeah, what do they call them now? Yeah, that's a good question.
Crosses. I don't know. So this was, I don't know who this was, but it says, "Man, Scott Boras is a really good agent," and it's from Dan Clark Sports. So I don't know who Dan Clark is. But
Nah.
Matt Chapman seeking 150 million plus. He declined 100 million plus. He signed for 54 million.
Oof.
Cody Bellinger seeking 200 million plus, signed with the Cubs for 80 million plus or 80 million. Blake Snell seeking 300 million plus, declined 168 million from the Yankees, remains unsigned. And then JD Martinez seeking 50 million plus, remains unsigned. So
okay,
yeah.
there's a lot to say about this though that I don't think has to do with Boras. And so let me give my gut reaction here first, and then you guys say whatever you want about it. But so I think that the biggest issue at play here is the way that major league teams manipulate playing time, and the way that free agency is only available to players after a certain amount of time. And so it used to be that these players would hit free agency most of the time, unless you had somebody like A-Rod or Mike Trout who came up super young. Most of these players are hitting free agency when they're like, what, 29 or 30? Like Griffey Jr. and Pujols and all of these guys, they signed their massive free agent deals when they were 30. And so it used to be that teams understood that this was how it worked, and this is when these players would get paid, and that's fine. Now, with all of the information and the data we have, we know, especially since we're not in the steroid era anymore, right? We know in the steroid era we had people like Bonds and Clemens and Randy Johnson who were like getting better into their late 30s, which is not how it's supposed to work, right? That's just not the way that the body works. So we know in the post-steroid era age here that players are not only going to decline in their 30s, but oftentimes it's a steep fucking decline. Like a lot of these guys are like Pujols had his last like decent year when he was like 30, like the first year of his Angels contract. And that year was already way worse than any of his Cardinals years. And then from there, it went way down really fast. And so what happens is we have all of this data, we have all this information, and teams are like, why am I going to shell out a bunch of money to these guys who are just going to decline so heavily? Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to do it. These guys want their long deals. They want that security. The teams know it doesn't make sense for them, and they don't want to do it anymore. Right now, Boras, in this case, he bet wrong, and I think there are reasons about that we can talk about separately about these specific players. He bet wrong on these players. If he were to do this with Juan Soto, like next year when Soto's a free agent, like it would work fine because it's Juan Soto. Juan Soto is in a class of his own, way different than fucking Cody Bellinger and Matt Chapman, right? And Blake Snell. But the overall way that it's working, where these guys can't hit free agency until a certain time, the way that playing time is manipulated, all of this stuff is really disadvantageous to the player. So it's not just about Boras blinking first, as Molly Knight put it. It's also, I think, about like how this is all structured in general in Major League Baseball. And also, let's not pretend that ownership isn't colluding. Like, I'm not saying that every owner is like getting on some big group phone call, some conference call, and being like, all right, nobody offer Cody Bellinger more than this much money. I'm not saying they're necessarily doing that, but I am saying that they probably are in contact and probably are thinking about what is best for them. In terms of just saving money, in terms of making more profits for themselves, whatever. And so you have these situations where I think if that wasn't happening, if there was true competition, I think Bellinger and Chapman might have gotten more. I don't know. I think the first point I made is the larger issue. But I just want to say I don't think that it's just about Boras. I think that's part of it. But I really believe strongly, and maybe I'm wrong, but I believe strongly that it's much more about just how this is all being structured at like the sort of global major league level.
Alan?
Yeah, well, real quick, is Monty backed by Boras?
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's Monty, JD, and Snell still left.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I pretty much agree with a lot of what you said, Ethan. Whether that was the intention of the Bud Selig and now Manfred and all the owners, like when they were negotiating CBAs to try to take some of that control back. I mean, it does seem like they've gotten it finally to a certain extent. And I just, the thing is though, I just don't know who it benefits at the end of the day. Because like, yeah, you maybe don't make the dumb money moves of, a Pujols or, Josh Hamilton, or I'm naming all Angels here.
Rendon.
Yeah.
Anthony
Rendon.
Rendon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And everything, but at the same time, and this is why we've talked about this a lot. I think the product is really suffering because good quality JD Martinez is a good quality major leaguer not playing right now in favor of an unproven prospect in some organization who may or may not, turn out to be good. But when you take away somebody like him, that just depletes what you've tried to do, as an organization, as a league, as an individual, as a player, and everything. So that part really irks me. I do wonder, and I haven't heard a single word about this, but Ethan, when you were talking about it, it made me think it. I do wonder if Tony Clark is on a little bit of a hot seat with the Players Association, because it has been pretty messy for them, over the last handful of years or so, in terms of them not being able to, and I'm not saying the players should always have all the leverage and everything, but it does seem like it's swung back a little bit more to the ownership. And I just wonder if Tony Clark, who runs the Major League Baseball Players Association, the union, I do wonder if he's on a little bit of a hot seat. But yeah, I mean, what was it, like 3 or 4 pods ago? I talked about collusion, not 1980s collusion, and then Kike Hernandez, talked about it last week. After he got signed finally and everything, and so there's definitely something going on. But at the same time, you still got teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers who are, past the top 3 luxury tax. Well, the Yankees would blow past the 3rd one if they were to sign Snell, for example, and everything and whatnot. And it's like there's just a lot of pieces that are broken.
Well, elaborate on that. Elaborate on what Kike said, because I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember it verbatim, but it was something around, it was just quiet for him. I mean, think
didn't he say something like a lot of teams contracted me with the same offer, like basically everyone, like, and he said I'm not the only one that I'm getting the same offer from everyone.
Yeah, and I mean that might be to Ethan's point where it's like the data says this and that, and they run the numbers and boom, it's going to be similar, right? So it could be as simple as that. We might be overlooking that particular part of it, but I don't. And that whole Dodgers thing was really weird too, because who was it that they traded to open up the roster spot?
Margot.
Yeah, and everyone was like, "Oh, he's a great fit, for the team and everything." And I don't know what happened, but Kike was still out there, and they were just like, I don't know if he's making less money than Margot was or whatever, but he didn't play a regular season game. It's so rare that you get traded twice without actually playing a regular season game with somebody, and everything. So yeah, it's all weird, and a lot of it is just it's March 6th, and we're dying, for actual games to begin and whatnot and everything. But at the same time, there's just the economics of baseball. They've always been broken to a certain extent, but now it seems like they're broken on both sides, and that is really worrisome. Especially when you throw in like everything that's happening with the A's, and I mean, Manfred keeps saying there's going to be expansion. I'm like, what is this going to be? like a fucking circus in 3 years? Like what is going to be going on with baseball? I don't know.
Well, to push the issue further, do you think this leads to, say, a minimum salary floor like other professional leagues?
No.
No? You don't think that they can...
Only because the players will never agree to it.
Really? You don't think they would say that teams like the A's have to spend at least $100 million?
Oh, you're talking about... Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying.
I'm saying like a minimum salary spend similar
you're
to...
talking like a collective for a team.
Yeah,
Oh.
like everyone in the league has to spend at least $80 million on their payroll, or everyone getting luxury tax money has to spend at least $100 million.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So you don't hear stories of what Loria or the Pirates owner who were getting luxury tax money and their payroll was less than the luxury tax money they were spent. Like, they were profiting off of the other owners.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Because like if the Dodgers, it's the Dodgers, the Yankees. I don't know who else is at that third threshold. It's $60 million is the penalty that they're paying out. So and I remember that podcast episode that we did last year, Matt, where you went through the Guardians, and I'm pretty sure their payroll was less than 60 million.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if you're talking about a collective, and I think we've talked about that on a podcast in the past too, I think that's a no-brainer. The owners will never vote for that.
Yeah,
obviously.
and that's the thing is, I don't know if the union has the power to force that, but I mean, for the good of baseball, right? JD Martinez is better than anyone the Oakland Athletics going to field this year.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, so I get it. JD probably doesn't want to go to Oakland. Like, you want to go to the locker pool rooms or something, like,
Yeah. He wants to win a championship.
Yeah.
He's late in his career. Yeah.
But just, I'm sure he would take $20 million from Oakland over nothing.
Yeah. Well, and it's, again, to one of Ethan's points, it's the manipulation is where it all starts. And so you've got, right from the get-go, all of these challenges that you have to overcome as a player to make sure that you do all you can. And that's why, like, every single time we see, like, the Braves locking up all those players, at an early age and whatever, and we always scratch our heads and we debate, like, was this good, was this bad? Like, there's no normal path or regular path anymore when it comes to free agency. It's, and I don't know. I would need to sit with this thought a little bit more. I don't know if that's good or bad for the game. My inclination would be to say that it's bad for the game if you can't build through free agency in some way, because we know the hit rate for prospects is not great. So if you want a better product out there, which I still think the majority of teams and their owners want to compete, especially because basically half the league can get into the playoffs now. So I just, I don't know, it makes me sad. For so long, it just felt like baseball was, and this is coming off the heels. So this is Wednesday, March 6th at 8:15, and Snell and Martinez and Montgomery are still unsigned as of a last X Twitter check. Yesterday, the New York Football Giants declined to tag two of their 5 best players in their organization, and a lot of it is salary cap reasons. And so for like a long time, and I'm not advocating for a salary cap, but what I'm saying is, like, baseball had it where, like, if you wanted your best player or whatever it was and you had the money, like, you could dish it out. And yeah, we can talk about the inequalities between Tampa and New York, for example, or something like that. But we also know there's a bunch of eyewash when it comes to how much money these owners make and how much money they're willing to spend on player payroll and everything. So it just makes me sad that baseball is, like, kind of in that camp now where these frustrating things that happen in the NFL and in the NBA, the major sports that have been around for so long and have so much money, but they're restricted because of these caps. And now it's like baseball's kind of in that spot as a result of greed and bad leadership, I would say, on the player side over the last, dozen years or so.
So the Giants was that safety one of the guys
Yeah,
that
McKinney and Saquon. Yeah.
future Packer McKinney.
I mean, the Bills safety got released today too. $7.5 million
Micah
cap
Hyde?
savings. I don't remember his name.
Former Packer Micah. Well, I know everyone, at least all the Green Bay channels, have been saying that if the Giants don't tag him, the Yankees are going to dump a buttload of money on his front porch and say, "Come to Green Bay." So
Who, McKinney?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, McKinney's 24.
Yeah.
He's a team captain.
Oh shit!
Just like Barkley. And everything. And from what I've heard, though, so the deadline to get a deal done before he can become an outright free agent is Monday. I've heard that they're gonna get it done. I don't know what that.
They're not going to conditional tag him. I thought at least one of them would get the conditional tag.
Yeah, the transitional tag or whatever.
Yeah, basically that you can match any offer. Because I also left that because like 3 months ago, people were saying that the Yankees, the Packers might go after Saquon, and I was like, oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah. I mean, Saquon's tag would have been 12 mil, like 12.1 or something like that. I don't know what McKinney's would have been, but all the rumors said yesterday up until about like 2:00 Eastern that he was going to get that transitional tag, McKinney, and then for whatever reason
who do the Giants have that's costing them so much money? Who need to get spot rack up and
who costs so much money?
Yeah, why are they worried about the cap?
Well, I mean, first off, they're terrible. The O-line, I just saw this. I meant to text it to you. The O-line has been ranked either dead last or second to dead last for the last like 7 years running now. In like all like the major categories. Yeah. DJ, they paid him a lot of money.
Well, so but you got an estimated cap space of $41 million. Like
yeah,
now, but that's after
Well, and the craziest thing is they're letting Saquon walk over $2 million. That was what he wanted, 14 mil last year or something like that. And I mean, whatever. Say what you want about him. He gets hurt a lot. I get that. He's definitely one of their best players, if not their best offensive player. It's not even close.
Just to stick the needle in a little bit, like $47 million of cap space is a lot to have tied up with Daniel Jones.
Oh yeah,
18% of your cap is to him.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, well, hopefully that's good for the Packers. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, like whoever was Jones's agent, did what Boras hasn't been able to do, and whoever was Saquon's agent, fucked up, and now here we are, and I keep seeing that that Saquon's going to come back with and let the Giants try to match with whatever he gets on the open market, but I keep hearing the Texans might be a landing spot. And as long as he doesn't end up in Philly or Dallas, I can probably stomach it, even if it was Green Bay.
But Washington,
he's not going to go to Washington. They're even more of a train wreck than the Giants are, and that's a pretty low bar. But I texted Danny LeDuc yesterday when I saw the tweet about McKinney and Barkley, and I was like, I mean, I'm ready for a new team anyway at this point because it's been a rough 10 years. Yeah. But I was like, how can you fuck that up so badly where you have two of your top 5 players potentially not coming back? Like, I don't get it. And apparently, like, I don't mean to take this into football all of a sudden, but apparently now the Giants are in this like 2-year rebuild mode that has been accepted by everybody from ownership to the GM to the head coach, where like they're basically punting on 2024. Like, it's knowledge now that this is a rebuild year, and that's why they didn't tag Barkley and everything. And I'm like, how can you go from going all in last year to having a 2-year plan to rebuild all of a sudden. Like, who the fuck is running this organization? It's maddening. I've said before, I've given up on trying to figure out what the Giants have been doing for a long time. I'm just so frustrated that for 6 years they had a chance with something really special and they fucked it up. I kind of hope he does go somewhere like Green Bay or somewhere where he knows he's going to win, kind of like McCaffrey did. Yeah, and McCaffrey got traded, right? But he's been tearing it up with the Niners, and he was good with the Panthers, but they're terrible too. That the Panthers, the Commanders, the Giants, they're like top 3 fucked up organizations in the NFL. And so, but you get to a good organization, and McCaffrey was a fucking beast this year. So
I don't know what to say about my fellow NFL owners, but. Ethan, I'm about to in some people's eyes, this is a major sin for wild beers. But so if you look nice, clear, looking good, we're gonna swirl up the bottom.
Oh, to get the sediment.
We're gonna get the yeasties in there. Oh yeah. Ooh, look at that turbidity. Oh.
Some people think that's like a no-no.
Yeah. Some people say that's not a flavor. Look at that now. Look at that apple cider now.
Yeah.
I usually will give it a shot because it will taste different. I don't always like it, but I figured I would give it a shot.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
See how.
I want to go on the record real quick. We don't need to. Obviously, I won't chime in on the NFL because I don't know anything. But you like it? All right, thumbs up on the yeasties.
Nice.
I want to go on record just to bring it back to the baseball thing real quick, as saying that I will be extremely upset if the Yankees sign Blake Snell, and I'm already like super annoyed that we offered him like $150 million. Like. So this is the other
168 man said
168. I mean it's fucking lunacy. And I'll elaborate in a minute, but that's the other point about these free agents is that they are being presented to us, I think, and maybe they are thinking of themselves as superstars. The only true superstar in this free agent class was Shohei, and I think Yamamoto will become one. I think he's going to be a superstar pretty much immediately, but we'll see. None of these other guys are superstars. If Cody Bellinger had continued the way his career began, oh my God, he would be insane. But he didn't, right? He was absolutely atrocious. He should have been in the minor leagues for like at least 2 years. And yeah, last year he was good, but he also was in the 10th percentile in his hard hit rate, which is scaring a lot of teams because, again, teams are relying heavily on data, and how hard people hit the ball is one of the things that people look at the most for hitters these days. So Bellinger is not some superstar. His 2019, I think it was 2019 MVP season, that season aside, he is not a superstar. And if you look at his last 3-4 years, he's actually, it's kind of scary. Like, yeah, he had one good year last year, but he was so horrible for more than a year before that, for at least 2 years. And so, yeah, why would you give him a $200 million deal? That makes no sense. Jordan Montgomery has been solid his whole career. He's not a superstar. He's not even really a star. He's a good, solid pitcher who happened to have a great postseason, which is awesome. And I like Monty, right? I'm not trying to bash him, but he is not some star. He's not some amazing ace. He's not an ace. And then Blake Snell. Oh my God, Blake Snell randomly had great.
Yeah, the worst double Cy Young winner out there.
Yeah, exactly. That would actually be I wonder if we, Colin, if we comment on a Joe Paz post, I wonder if we could get him to do this, because this would be fascinating to rank pitchers who have won multiple Cy Youngs. Because Matt, I think you're actually onto something, because that's the thing with Snell. He's had 2 great years and he won the Cy Young each year. Other than that, mediocre at best. Like, go and look at the numbers. I mean, Baseball Reference and Fangraphs rate their pitchers pretty differently, so you get a different picture from those. But on Baseball Reference, his 2 Cy Young years, I was just double checking, 6 WAR and 7 WAR. The rest of his career, between 1 and 2, every single season, between 1 and 2, Baseball Reference WAR. On Fangraphs, his best year was like 4.7 WAR. Didn't even get up to 5 Fangraphs WAR. He had like I think he had 3 seasons of more than 3 Fangraphs WAR, and then everything else was like 1 and 2. So he's had 2 great years, but they were also 5 years apart. It's not like he's been consistent. He was randomly great in 2018 and randomly great in 2023. Other than that, he has not been good. He's not a good pitcher.
Here's the list of 2-time Cy Young winners: Snell, DeGrom, Kluber, Halladay, Lincecum, Johan Santana, Tom Glavine, Brett Saberhagen, Gaylord Perry, Bob Gibson, and Denny McLain.
So yeah, I mean, so it's not even close, right? It's not even.
I don't know enough about like Gaylord Perry, but I'm assuming he's better than that.
Gaylord Perry is great and is in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And Denny McLain, I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, but he was amazing for a while. Granted, it was in the late '60s when pitchers were dominating. So Denny McLain, yeah, with the Tigers, he won 31 games in 1968, the Bob Gibson year. That's really famous. So I'm looking at him. So McLain could maybe give Snell a run for his money. McLain was amazing for 2 years, but other than that, was not very good. So Denny McLain and Blake Snell are like the bottom of this very, very weird barrel.
At least he had a 4 WAR year in 1965. So
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, that was before the mound was lowered.
But I'm looking at his ERA plus. Yeah, so in 65 he and then in 68 and 69. Those are the only 3 years of his career where he was above average by ERA plus.
Yeah, that's actually pretty tough. That's probably the best way to look at it, Ethan.
Yeah.
Is below average all but 3 years.
Yeah. And he happened to be amazing two of those years and very good the other one.
Yeah, but also, here you go. 2 years following his Cy Young in 69, he led the league in losses.
Which his team might have been really bad, right? That can be deceptive.
He was on the Senators, so yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
But
what year was that, Matt?
71.
I mean, his FIP, his fielding independent pitching was 4.4. His ERA plus was 77. So like, even if the team was bad, the stats that we have that try to isolate some of those things, like even by those numbers, he was not good.
Yeah, the best player on the 71 Senators was someone named Bill Gogolewski.
Oh God.
Oh man, Frank Howard.
Oh yeah, big Frank Howard.
Right.
Man,
it's actually a weird career. McLain's last season was when he was 28 years old and he only threw 76 innings. Normally that's your prime, is 27, 28, 29. And his last year was 28. Yeah, I wonder if injuries are what really fucked him after those 2 great years.
But I mean, that's a good point, right? Like that's a good bellwether for Snell, right?
Yep. Yeah, and so that's the thing, right?
But just a good cautionary tale.
Yeah, like we're talking about $150 million. I know that like these days, because of inflation and everything, like $150 million isn't necessarily what it was when we were in high school or college, for instance. But it is still a substantial contract. And Blake Snell is 30. Last year was his age 30 year. He is not going to age like Garrett Cole or CC Sabathia unless he gets some sort of some sort of steroid that the tests are some brand new steroid that the tests don't catch, and all of a sudden he gets better in his 30s. Like, no fucking way. So I will be furious if the Yankees get him, and I hope somebody else signs him because I fully do not expect him to have anywhere close to as good of a year for the rest of his career as last year. If I'm wrong, great, good for him, but I would be shocked.
Well, yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. And actually, I was gonna try and make a comp to Bellinger and Harper, only because you had talked about the hard rate hit percentage,
hard hit
and and I mean I get that, but I think I've read from numerous people that he also just changed his approach last year, where he's not. Molly Knight, I think, wrote.
Yeah, he like chokes up with like different on 2 strikes, right?
Yeah, and everything. But at the same time, I don't know. One of you would have to look up like how bad. I don't. Harper never got as bad as Bellinger was, even though he had kind of an up and down, career leading into his free agency. Anyway, the comp I want to make is Jordan Montgomery to Nathan Eovaldi. Only because Eovaldi got his big deal after he pitched lights out for the Red Sox during that 2018 title run.
Right.
And I was just looking it up on Spot Rack, and so prior to the big deal that he signed with Boston, his biggest contract was his last season with the Yankees. That must have been arbitration, $5.6 million. And then when the Yankees let him go to Tampa, he first year made $2 million, and then that year he got traded halfway through the season. He was $1.2 million. After that, he signed a contract for $17 million a year for 4 years with the Red Sox before signing with the Rangers. And in 18, he was 33 last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now
2018,
that
he was
Tampa deal,
28.
right? Though that was his Tommy John year, right?
Yeah, he missed the last. He's had 2 Tommy Johns.
Yeah, I think that Tampa deal was basically, we're going to sign you for 2 years, even though you're only going to pitch in 2 years.
Yeah, right. Yes, that sounds familiar. Anyway, he pitched lights out in the postseason, helps the Red Sox win a World Series, gets the big deal. This is what? How long ago was 2018? 6 years ago? 5 years ago at this point?
Yeah.
Not that long ago. Jordan Montgomery is 30 years old right now. He can't be much more than a year older than Eovaldi. Health-wise, has been healthier than Eovaldi, at this point in their careers. And he just pitched fucking lights out for Texas in the postseason, helping them win the World Series. And I'm not saying that Texas necessarily should have been the one to re-sign him, but it is kind of weird that somebody coming off such an amazing postseason run and being as good as he was, and he's a solid pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that he's been more solid a pitcher to this point in his career than Eovaldi was when he signed that big deal with Boston. And it's like, and I've heard that Boston's one of the teams that might go after him, especially after seeing what happened. Did you guys see
Giolito,
yeah, tore his UCL.
Oh, wow.
not going to pitch this year.
Yeah.
Damn.
So they're really, really hurting right now. So, maybe they flinch and give him a big deal. But it's just crazy to me that a left-handed, solid, he's not a number one all the time, but neither was Eovaldi. And he can't get a deal.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
just so weird. Yeah, so weird.
Yep.
I don't know.
So, yep. Yeah, it's been a weird off season for sure. And yeah, I don't know. But please don't sign Snell, Cashman.
Regular listener of the podcast, Ryan Cashman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He listens all the time, because I was like his last defender until he went and bashed G in public. But he heard, he heard through the grapevine that I was his last defender. He's like, oh, I better go listen to this guy's podcast.
I wanna find, like, Brian J. Cashman in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, or something, and be like, hey, can I pay you to listen to my podcast so we can say Brian Cashman listens to our podcast? We've got the ear of the Yankees general manager.
That'd be really funny.
Amazing.
Come on, there's got to be. There's right. I'm gonna do a quick Facebook search. There's got to be.
Oh, there's got to be. Yeah.
Oh, there's got to be plenty. Yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
I don't think Cashman's that rare. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a common.
I'm doing it.
Next time, folks, tune in. Brian Cashman will be joining us.
Oh, man.
Are you looking to make $50? Is your name Brian Cashman?
You could probably get an AI, recording or something, right?
Good.
Yeah,
sound just like him.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, especially someone like him, where he's obviously very well known.
Yeah.
Lots of audio out there to emulate.
Yeah. So what else we got?
Sorry, I'm looking at people named Brian Cashman. Oh, there's lots. Oh man, there's
yeah,
lots.
there's lots.
Oh man, there's one just up the road in a town down the road. Like, I gotta find him.
Hilarious.
But anyway, I'll stop stalking random members of the public. Yeah. So the other, as I was looking at the Giolito headline, I also see a headline on ESPN. Rodon gives up 2 more home runs, lacks zip on fastball. Oof.
Oh, good.
First pitch of the game, he gave up homer.
Oh, to the Rays.
I thought he figured something out this offseason.
He was in better shape than he's ever been, and he shaved his mustache.
Well, people say that all the time about the best shape they've ever been in. That's the constant spring training refrain. So I ignore that shit. But I thought there was other stuff that he had done.
I mean, I'm looking at G right now. I'm watching the replay of today's game. I'm looking at G. He just took an awful swing on an inside fastball and popped out to the second baseman. But he kind of looks a little slimmer, a little bit.
Yeah, I thought I saw a picture of him where he did look slimmed down, but
yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah,
Alex Verdugo. This is what he looks like. I don't even know what the dude looks like.
Yeah, well, he used to have a big full beard.
Yeah.
It was patchy.
It was pretty thick.
It wasn't a Matt Root beard.
It was
okay.
scraggly.
Yeah.
It's funny. Did you guys see that Judge has actually been lobbying to get Verdugo for a couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very surprising and kind of weird. Verdugo is okay, but he's not that good. There must be something about him as a person or his attitude, the way he plays, or something. I don't know that Judge likes, but like.
But he got benched like a bunch of times by Cora for not hustling.
Yeah, right. So I'm like really confused as to what Judgy is smitten by here.
His OPS is surprisingly good, and he's a doubles machine.
Yeah. Well, he's also lefty at Fenway, so he was probably popping him off the green monster,
right?
Trying to pull it down the pesky pole, but like. Speaking of Alex Cora, I just found out today this is his walk year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, part of me wants him to stay because they're fucking awful, except for that one season with him when he was still cheating. And the other part of me is like, man, burn it to the ground. Fuck the Red Sox.
Yeah, but like, what if he walks and then they like hire Beltran or something?
I'd be okay with that.
From one cheater to the next.
Yeah.
I mean, Beltran should have a job.
Yeah.
We've talked about this.
I would be sad to see him in a Red Sox uniform, but yeah. I just want the narrative of Alex Cora being some amazing manager. I want that narrative to go away. Because 2018 was his first year. He didn't really have anything to do with it. And they were amazing. And they have been mediocre and bad since then. I'm looking at it. So but I think there still is this pervasive narrative of like Alex Cora being some great manager. It's fucking stupid.
Well, the narrative's going to be how bad Chaim Bloom is.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, trading Mookie Betts in his prime. I mean, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah, it could be if Boston and New York flame out this year, that the best friends will both be looking for new jobs and there'll be new managers as well.
The best friends?
Yeah, Aaron Boone and Alex Cora.
Booney and Cora are buddies?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why, they're like always talking. Booney said something when Verdugo got traded, like Cora must have known or something because he kind of hinted at it. They were on the phone like the day before or something, just chatting like friends, and they're like really close.
No shit! Wow. Okay, I didn't know that.
They must have played together.
Okay.
Still a shame.
Yeah. Although I don't know who did Cora even play with.
I don't remember. I remember Joey Cora.
Joey Cora was a Mariner.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Little guy.
Yeah.
Well. Yeah. Baseball Reference has the answers.
We are capable. We can look it up.
That's right.
Oh wow, he looks like even more of a prick as a player. Ooh. Dodgers for 7 years. Indians
Not
for a
there.
year. Red Sox for 3 years, 4 years. Mets, Rangers, Nationals.
Did they intersect with the Indians? Like Booney played with them toward the end of his career, I think.
This is just 2005.
Yeah, that was around the time Booney retired.
Yep, Aaron Boone. Yep.
Yeah.
They're on the team together in Cleveland.
Yep. Okay. There it is.
All right.
But yeah, Alex Cora, 1 year with an OPS plus above 100. No other year. Okay, well, he had one year of 119, 1 year of 98, and then 88, 83, and everything else is below like 70.
Yeah. So
What years is his career span?
98 to 2011.
Holy shit, he played till 2011?
Yep, it was with the Nationals in 2011.
So he's the younger brother of Joey. I feel like Joey was more our
yeah, Joey was
child.
when we were
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah.
Are they
Seven-
cousins?
7 career WAR, 35 career homers.
Joey was 87 to 98 the years he played. So way earlier.
Yeah, so maybe they're cousins.
Yeah. And oh man, I thought Joey Cora was like a speed machine, but he wasn't. He only stole 20 bases once, and that was the high was 20. So I don't know where I got that
No,
from.
you ain't stealing when Griffey and Buhner and Egger and
Yeah, A-Rod.
A-Rod and all of them are coming up.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Do you think about that fucking lineup?
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
Like just those 4 players right there, all
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
And then having Randy. I mean, they were just missing some of that depth, I think. That's what ultimately killed them. But man, their top tier players were. And it's so crazy to think. Did they make the playoffs last year? It was just no, they missed it, right? Just the year before.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
right.
Like it's just so crazy to think that they've been around since 1977 and the only time they've ever been good is when we were kids.
Yeah.
Like
It is really, yeah, it's wild.
like that 7-year stretch or whatever. Not even probably. It was 95 to 01. They were good.
Yeah.
Competitive.
01
Mhm.
was Ichiro's first year, right?
2001, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and everyone was gone by then too. A-Rod was gone, Griffey, Johnson.
Yeah.
So it was a whole different team, but
Jamie Moyer was there maybe before he turned into a skeleton. That
yeah, he was probably still there.
Jamie Moyer.
If I had to guess. They had Freddie Garcia was probably one of their aces for that 01 team.
Oh, I remember him, yeah.
Yeah.
former
He was a
Yankee,
Yankee.
Freddie Garcia.
Yep, he was a Yankee. You could always bet back in the day when the way free agency used to work to like bring this full circle. You could always bet that the Yankees would sign another team's best player past their prime. That was
Yeah.
that was their thing from like
Uh-huh.
02 to 10, 11, or so.
At least.
Freddie Garcia, Mariners power pitcher. Let's turn him into a crafty lefty.
Yep. No, it's probably until 16. I'm gonna say from 02 until 16, the Yankees would sign washed up old players. Even Beltran, was washed up and old, by the time he came to the Yankees.
Yep.
And
Vernon
Man.
Wells.
Beltran,
Andrew
do you
Jones.
guys know that Beltran would have taken a hometown discount and Cashman passed him up for like back before he signed with the Mets. What year was that?
04-ish, I want to say.
Yeah, 4 or 5.
Because he had the great postseason with Houston, I think, in 04.
In
And then
04,
he was a free
yep.
agent, right?
Yep. So 04. So who was Bernie was on his way out. Did they get Naaman right away? after that?
I thought Damon was a couple years later, but I might be
Yeah, he
wrong.
might have
Let
been.
me look. Damon 06, so a year later. So because Beltran's first free agent year with the Mets was 05. We got
05,
we
yeah.
got Damon in 06.
So I don't know who they passed him up for, but it's obviously nobody who did anything good.
Was
yeah.
that Mike Cameron?
Mike Cameron was a Mariner.
There
4
was
homers.
there
yeah,
was
but did he play for the Yankees for a year?
and
I don't think so.
I think he did, Matt. I remember him being on the Yankees.
Cameron?
I think so. I'll look it up.
No, he was in the Mets.
Yeah, look it
Damn
up.
it. Damn it.
Huh?
He was in the Mets. Damn it.
He wasn't on the Yankees?
No.
I could have sworn. Are we
Yeah, I was
thinking?
gonna say I'm usually really good at remembering those.
Are we
weird
thinking of Cameron
trades.
Maben?
There
I
was
was gonna say
Maben, there was
that.
Granderson, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
The 05 Yankees outfield was Matsui, Bernie, and Gary Sheffield.
I think he went after Chef.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
And I mean, Chef was good with us.
No,
but...
Chef was on the team already. No, he was on the 04 team.
Oh yeah, he was. You're right. Well, it was Matsui, Sheffield, and Bernie in the outfield. So maybe that was why. Maybe because the outfield was already taken care of.
What about? Can you look up Mondesi? Was he on the 04 team
Let me see.
or 05?
Not on 04.
Abreu.
Nah, 04 was Matsui, Bernie, and Sheffield also.
Abreu was 2006 to 2008.
Yeah, so it's not him.
Mondesi was...
I mean, there's an easy way to do this. We could just go to the 2004 Yankees.
Well, that's where I just was. Mondesi was on the Yankees in 02 and 03.
02, 03, okay.
That's it.
Kenny Lofton.
Yeah. He was on the team in 05, but
and 04.
I don't think it was, yeah, I don't think it was him that
Bubba Crosby. Ruben Sierra.
I don't know. I'll look it up and inform all our
I'm just going to start yelling Bubba Crosby again. Matt
Lawton.
Kevin Reese.
Ruben Sierra is another example of somebody who was really good, and then we got him after his prime. He was actually like really good in his young days with Texas.
Well, he was also on the Yankees in like 95, 96. We traded him mid-season.
Yeah, you're right.
He was a problem, like clubhouse problem.
Oh, and he actually wasn't playing well in 95, 96 either.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had already declined too, I think.
Although he hit the homer, I'm pretty sure he hit the homer right before Mattingly in the 95 ALDS.
Oh, okay.
To get the crowd warmed up for Donnie's Big Bang.
Yeah.
Well,
hold on to the roof.
Yes, right. Yep. Hold on to the roof.
Yeah.
Yep. Ah, man. I tell anyone who ever wants to listen, then I'll stop talking for the night. The sounds that you get from the old Yankee Stadium, like when you watch the Mattingly homer, when you watch the Tino homer from the 01 World Series, like, you know, some of these moments that happened during that dynasty run, holy shit, it's so loud and just so crazy for not being, you know, and I've been in at Penn State games, you know, Penn State, Ohio State, 110,000 people, like obviously it's going to be loud, it's going to be intimidating, you know, and everything. Yankee Stadium, the revamped one was what, 55K max?
I think
you know,
so.
something like that, you know, whatever. And I mean, I know the fans were right on top of the field, and that had something to do with it. And tickets were more affordable, so there were more diehards like us versus, you know, the more casual fans that show up these days. But holy shit, I just get goosebumps still when I think about some of those moments and just how loud the stadium was. Man, never be able to relive it, obviously, but
crazy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, boys. Well,
and that's been more riveting content from three white guys ramble about the Yankees.
No, we rambled about a lot of shit tonight.
Some football too,
not just the Yankees. We didn't really talk about the Yankees at all until the end.
That is a good point. I will say that.
Yeah, it was more Yankee adjacent.
it was boras, it was Giants, it was
Beer.
economics, beer,
Blake,
lots of beer
Blake
tonight.
Snell.
Blake Snell, yep. Who we hope is not going to be a Yankee.
Yep.
I think we're all in agreement on that.
Yeah.
Although I think like if I was to open up my phone tomorrow morning and see that he got signed, I'd be like, okay, I could do it.
I'd say,
I would be
fucking
annoyed.
Ethan. I'll blame you, Ethan.
You'll blame me.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I'm just at the point now where it's been 14 seasons. I need one. I need a ring. Gotta build. Gotta build.
Uh-huh.
I'm ready to sell out. I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Any shout outs before we go?
Nope.
Shout out to the sloths I saw in Costa Rica. Keep living your best life, sloths.
Did you know sloths are solitary animals?
Yes.
I just learned that yesterday in one of Stella's books.
Yeah, we get to see a couple 2-toed and 3-toed sloths.
Nice. And I apologize to Aria. It was actually Aria's book that she got from Dolly Parton.
Oh, Dolly Parton. Oh, fuck yeah, Dolly Parton.
Nice.
Yeah, Dolly's got that
The
free.
book club.
Well, you guys don't. Yeah, you guys don't have kids, but anyone who's listening, as long as your area is enrolled in the program, you just go on our website, Dolly Parton book, whatever, Imagination Books, and if your area qualifies, then you get a free book every single month from the age of birth until 5 years old.
Holy fuck.
Yep.
Dolly Parton for president.
That's
fuck
amazing.
everyone else
Seriously.
who's in politics right now. Dolly Parton for president.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow, incredible.
Seriously. Yeah, and it's Dan and Kayla in their area, they brother Dan and sister-in-law Kayla, they're not eligible. But we have gotten most of the time we get different books for Aria than what Stella got because they try to look recent authors, things like that, and whatever. But we have gotten a few repeats, but those ones we've been able to take with us when we go to Raleigh and give to my niece Sadie. So it's worked out either way. But yeah, it's a great program. If you have kids, you're listening, you didn't know about it, sign up right now. Get your kids free books. It's awesome.
Wow. Yeah. Amazing.
Yep. Fucking shout out to Dolly Parton.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, Dolly. the cake mix that you made with Duncan Hines is excellent too.
All right, boys. Till next time.
Don't say it.
We are.
Don't
we
say
are.
it.
I gave Dolly a shout out. It's all good.
No, I just have to act pissed off every time you say it.
Too good.